welcome to Last Two Pages and our YouTube special of Dogeared, where two best friends make some poor adult decisions and talk about their bookish hot takes. I'm Megan.
And I'm Teresa. On this episode, we'll be talking about some of the issues we see coming up with Bookstagram and TikTok. Booktok.
All of the above. We've been drinking, if it's not clear, because we don't feel like in the last episode we were drinking nearly enough for you to get an unfiltered amount of Megan and Teresa content. So welcome to Dogeared, everyone.
Yes, welcome. We're here.
Why are you about to cry right now?
I'm not.
Okay. I've missed you.
I missed you, even though I saw you last week. 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. Not okay. That's like half a month where we haven't seen each other, and that's not okay with me personally.
I live with my parents. It's what life is. It's cheapest. It's great. I love living with my family. It's the best. And every time I come stay a weekend at Megan's to film episodes, it's always, my mom will say, have fun with your other parent, because we joke that I'm a child of divorce and have to split my time because I have to like pack my bags.
Yeah.
Like every other weekend, yeah. I'm coming over here.
I love it. It's great.
And it's really funny.
I love when you come over and spend time with me.
I do too. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cringe. We actually just had to lock my cat in my bedroom because she was kind of going crazy town
everywhere. And today, we thought it was finally time. I don't know. This is something that we always talk about when we're home alone, and we're Gen Zers, so it's obviously something that we're going to record and put on the internet as well. And it's just some of the issues we have with social media relating to reading and books. And overarching, we both love Bookstagram.
We love it. I started my Bookstagram 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, at the Blonde Registry, and I started it before Teresa's.
Mm-hmm. You made me start mine because you were tired. You weren't tired. You were just like, you need more people to talk about these books to, because I only had Megan, and then I only had our friend Amanda, and then the only other Bookstagram I was following was the Ginger Hobbit. Love ya.
And what is your Bookstagram called?
My Bookstagram is @the_wild.spines.
Thank
it's
you.
It's a period, not a dot.
Thank you.
But the community
it's
on Bookstagram.
It's @the_wild_spines.
What'd I say?
The wild.spines.
Whatever Megan said.
The way that I know.
Whatever she said.
Teresa's Bookstagram is @the.wild_spines, and mine is @the Blonde Registry. Just to make it very crystal clear for everyone. Not that you have to follow, just for context of where we're coming from in this whole segment.
And the community on Bookstagram is unmatched. The amount of love and community that is there is incredible. The women and men on there are so the best of the best. The amount of friends I made that I feel are genuine friends and talk to often. I love you all. You know who you are. We talk. I love you. You're the best. You're hot, sexy, and fun. It is what it is. And I love when people talk to me about books, and I love when people talk about books. But when people are talking about books a lot, there are just some things.
I feel like, since I'm an introvert, I know I have a lot of friends on Bookstagram, and if you're watching this, you're probably one of my friends on Bookstagram. But I don't talk to any of you often, I'd say. I'm just kind of an introvert and don't spend all of my time on social media, but I'm happy if we've found a friendship somehow, and I feel the platform is very overwhelming sometimes for me because so much is happening all the time. I very regularly have to just like get out of everything because I'm like, that was enough for me. I see something where I'm like, that's enough. I can't.
There's a lot of pressures
on
that come with it. And I know I've talked to so many people about this, is that sometimes, especially if you get into a slump or if you're not reading a lot and you see people reading And that feels like such a privileged point of view because it's like, where I can't read my book because I don't have time. But when it's someplace that you find that actually brings you so much joy, like starts to detract from that, it's like a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and you have to take a break. But then if you take a break, you feel like you're failing that and failing them. And then some people, not all people use the platform the same way. And yeah, it is such a privileged point of view to like have it affect you. And I want to address that. And that's real.
I think specifically you're talking about FOMO of reading. Like,
Yeah.
Everyone is reading the same book at the same time and you're missing out on whatever that book is.
Here's the thing. I love to talk to people about A Throne of Glass and ACOTAR and all of the above, especially like the big books that a lot of people have read. But sometimes it really gets to a point where I see so many people posting about it. It's so hard because these are books that I see as so near and dear to my heart, especially Throne of Glass, that I'm like, I had like a personal moment with them, and then
visceral
I'm like,
reaction.
I feel like I'm being cheated on because I'm like, oh, you had that experience too, and like it doesn't detract from my own experience, but it feels like it does, you know, when so many people have read these and experienced the same things, and that's wonderful. But I'm like sitting there like, but Aylin told me that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying.
And it's such a dumb thing, but literally when I see like so many posts about ACOTAR, I'm like, I have to be done, because I'm like, I'm sure you had a special moment with that book, but like,
my moment was more special. It was specialer.
It's not that it hurts my feelings, because I love talking to people about these books. I don't know what it is about that. I love
that you love things so deeply that that's how you feel about them.
I
that's kind of how I feel about recommending books to people. Where I recommend a lot of books on Bookstagram, but more as just like a book review. Or I feel like then I'm not saying sharing my experience. It's more of a like, this was my experience. Where if I'm more like a, you should read this book, share my experience, it's more of a personal connection with someone that I don't feel like sharing on the internet always.
I've never felt more special when someone has reached out to me and said, I can tell that you enjoy the series and I'm reading it for the first time and there's no one else I could talk to in my life about it. Can I talk to you? And I'm like,
sweet.
Yes, absolutely.
Talk to me about it.
When it's like individual, I'm like, I love it. It's so exciting because these series are so special. In like, from the outside, that seems so dumb because I get that. It's like, oh, this fairy magic world is wah. Like, but no, if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you really don't. And then sometimes when I see all of these people posting about it, I'm like, do all of these people feel the same way? Or is it really like not that special of me to feel that impacted by this? When I'm like, it's had that huge of an impact.
I think it's not that it's not special to you. I think that it's that the author wrote it in such a way that it hits humanity in that way. Specifically, Eve's reading nook was reading Throne of Glass for the first time. I just finished the buddy read and Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, and getting her live updates of every event that happened, I genuinely felt like
reliving it.
Oh my god, I'm experiencing it again. Like, I haven't read Throne of Glass in quite some time, but I still was feeling like I'm getting videos of her sobbing. And then the next video I get of her is her laughing. And then the next one is her crying again. And I loved that. So I don't feel like it. I had a really hard time. Actually, first, when you read ACOTAR, when you were the first person I gave that series to. I didn't even give you Crescent City. I first said read ACOTAR. Like, I didn't even share Miss Bryce Quinlan's journey with you, but I gave you ACOTAR and I was like, hey, you should read this, and it was terrifying watching you go through it, and like, you didn't feel the same way about
from the start. I called.
You did.
Sorry, that's a spoiler. spoiler for ACOTAR. I called it.
You did.
Immediately when that other man showed up, I was like, something's here.
What's so silly is I didn't see it at all.
I didn't get the riddle.
I
didn't either. I didn't get the riddle in ACOTAR at all.
I really thought I was clever. I was like, I stepped back from the book and I was like, you know what? No, I can figure it out. And then spent 20 minutes in a journal trying to figure out. And I was like, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
I felt so dumb when that was revealed.
But the thing is, I genuinely didn't think that our dark shadow daddy was main man. I thought it was Lucian. So
that would have been
book. I was like, it has to be this sassy red-haired man. Come on now.
He needs his moment.
Anyway,
he needs it.
So
he deserves it. He's been through way too much.
What does this have to do with Bookstagram?
It has everything to do with Bookstagram because Lucian Van Serra deserves so much better from us all and everything, and he needs his own book because he deserves his own story, and he doesn't deserve what he's being handed right now because he is Fox Daddy.
I think I need to go on AO3. That's all this is telling me.
That's so true. But that's what's so hard is that all these books you think only you could have felt this way, everyone else has, and it's hard to hear that you're not the main character.
You're not special. God, I wonder what that feels like.
But it really is like, it's one of those things you don't expect to be.
Is that a problem with Bookstagram, or is that just a problem with you? Sorry, guys.
That could really be a problem with me.
That's okay though. Like, come on, self knowledge.
I don't know. I think I do get in my head about it. I'm like, oh, everyone feels this way, and I'm like, ugh. But then I love it when other people talk to me individually. It's just when I see it mass produced
everywhere,
oversaturated, it is like. That's why I don't talk about some of my favorite series on Bookstagram.
Gatekeeper.
No, it's not. I've talked about my love for them. Like, I've never posted about Six of Crows.
I still haven't read it.
I've talked about it, but I've posted about the other two. Sorry, I'm adjusting my nose ring.
You're picking your nose.
I know. I'm adjusting my nose.
On camera. On candid camera.
I have my nose pierced. I swear. I had to take it out today because it made my nose too cold outside. But I can't bring myself to post about it because it's that duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, like, hit me so hard, and I love them so much, and they drew me into Bookstagram. But I haven't been able to bring myself to post about them because, like, I almost don't want to take them off the shelf of my heart.
That's why I haven't read them.
Put them out there.
I think that's why I haven't read them, is that I know how people feel about the books, and that I'm afraid that I'm not going to feel the same about them, or that I'm not going to, like, have the same experience, or, like, God, it is so many books I'm committing to. I'm committing to 7 books.
That's something with House of Flame and Shadow was really hard to see so many people reacting to it because it was hard to have your own feelings about it. And, like, if it wasn't as talked about as it was, I'm sure I would have loved it way more.
Yeah, I haven't finished yet.
I know. I won't talk
I'm at
about
85%.
I'm not going to spill anything about it, but just as you're reading it with all of these other people, you hear all of the other sides, and you're like, you're just so impacted by that. And all of the random side quest books I read, like all of the hockey romances I don't hear talked about, like, I love them on their own, and I know if I talk to someone about it, it would take from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that says about me, but it just gets into the nitty-gritty.
I appreciate that it bothers you.
It gets into the weeds of the shared experience readers have.
Right.
And that so many books, like, I get people deserve to have opinions, and this is all our opinions, and because we are Gen Z, we're recording them and putting them on the internet, honestly. We grew up in the media age. This is the most natural course of action for us.
Obviously.
And
obviously, we can't just leave it to ourselves to have opinions. We have to let all of you know that we also think these things, especially about Bookstagram.
And you are free to disagree.
We've kind of talked about FOMO, but
yeah.
I think also I've found that books are treated like fast fashion on Bookstagram, which really just irks me. Like,
that's the direction we're going.
Specifically, I noticed on What the River Knows by Isabella Ibanez. I don't know. Amazing, beautiful book. Loved it. But it was talked about for a week. And then all of a sudden, no one talked about it. And it just felt like either you read it or you didn't. By the way, it was after, these other books that came out a week before. And it was literally a week. And everyone posts about it for that week. And then it's just gone.
I remember that week.
And honestly, I loved the book. I'm confused why it didn't get more traction, because it's giving Indiana Jones. It's giving Tomb Raider. It's giving everything I could ever want, like in a summertime book. But I didn't even have time to post my review. I don't know about you, but I post like way in advance of what I'm actually like reading, just because like I don't have time.
I post as I go.
It takes me a long time to get like through what my posts actually like to the time of when I'm supposed to post whatever. It just is like a control thing. I haven't even posted my review for that book, and it was like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, and I just like, I'm confused, and I don't know, maybe it's more just like I'm behind the times because I'm an old soul. I don't know, but it sucks to me that so many books are fast fashion, where it's just like in one ear out the other. Are we really learning from the books? Maybe that's a me thing. Are we really like engaging with the authors enough? Is it enough to just give them our money? Is it a full review that we should be giving them? I don't know. If I was an author, I wouldn't want people to just be like, oh, it's a book that I put up on my shelf, and maybe post the cover of without a review, just to be like, oh, I have a green book with orange on it.
And the formula is switching from, I never see book reviews anymore.
Makes me so upset. I see
a few people, but that's like not what's pushed to people anymore. And even like I've seen with my own reviews that they've like taken a hit. It's whatever. I post them for fun. I don't really feel deep about it, but a year ago when I started my Bookstagram, it was the opposite. Even before that, I know it's like it started as a place to review books, and I've seen people talk about how that has changed, and it's not that place anymore, and I miss it.
I miss seeing other people's reviews as well. I feel like regularly I am tagged in like book challenges.
I love those.
And I do them all the time. Absolutely. That's not a problem I have at all.
People aren't doing book challenges as much.
I'm not getting reviews of what people are reading, and I want to know what people are reading, and not just on your story. I want to know like what you felt about it.
That's
and
me.
How it impacted you, like how this is going to affect what you read throughout the year. And maybe it doesn't, and maybe that's just a me thing. Or
that's so true. I haven't seen that in a while.
Like I definitely have ups and downs on like what I'm specifically reading throughout the year. Like, this is the time where I normally read sci-fi, and I'm reading somewhat sci-fi fantasy with Shadow House of
Flame and Shadow.
Flame and Shadow. I was like, what is it called?
Just you wait.
House of Flame and Shadow, but also Shatter Me. Like, this is my dystopian sci-fi time, where normally in the summer I'm reading fantasy or modern or like things that are more time period pieces. That's kind of like my vibe, but I'm not even getting what people are reading, period. I'm not seeing it at all. And
no,
unless it's like a month review thing, and I wish I knew what people thought about them other than stars or pepper level.
And we're only seeing reviews about the books that are blowing up right now.
Yeah. That's all that covers my feed.
With books with now becoming fast fashion, that was most prevalently seen with Iron Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And that I think
Iron Flame?
Yeah, Iron Flame. The first one, Fourth Wing.
I was like
is because there was such a huge, the first one was such a huge success.
I read it. I'm not gonna act like I didn't.
And everyone was talking about it, and then we got Iron Flame so fast in less than a year. It was a few months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And most people I know there's some people that loved it. I didn't hate it. You can go read my review, but I didn't hate it. But it just didn't measure up at all. It should have been sorted through. It should have been reviewed and edited like 2 more times. There should have been a few more drafts, and it could have been great. But it had so much repetition, and it didn't flop because everyone was so excited for it, but it almost should have, because it was not what we wanted.
I didn't read it. So.
A third of that book could have been cut out, because the amount of repetition and arguing between the 2 main characters that occurred that was never settled for like the whole thing was not fun to read. And if I would have read it any sooner than, or any faster than the few days that I probably would have put it down and never picked it back up, because it just kept the same old thing. And like the writing was engaging enough that I kept going, and it was easy enough. But I feel like now there's a pressure on authors to be producing with the hype that their books have. But we've seen
everyone's got to get their coin.
Sarah J. Maas, she doesn't release for a few years, and it's still successful.
Well, it's successful because of that.
That's what I'm saying, is that I hope that this feels like it's putting pressure on authors to release faster than they should. Like, let them hone their craft. Take your time. We want the quality, and we see the quality, and we appreciate the quality, but I feel like there's enough people that are in it for the hype that's being diminished.
I think the other thing that I've noticed specifically with Bookstagram, maybe this is because I am in marketing.
You went to school for...
I went to school for design, and I work in marketing now. Not everyone is a designer.
I feel like there's a pressure, though, to be.
Correct. There is a pressure to have picture perfect everything, and I think people's standards of what picture perfect is very different depending on where you're at. And I'm not saying that my pictures are perfect. God forbid. You know, my phone is old as the hills, and the quality is not great on half of my pictures. Why are you editing wings on your man? Am I supposed to... How do you expect me to feel about that?
Froth at the mouth, obviously.
Why are you editing a crown of thorns on your man's head? I respect the grind of wanting to cosplay, but I feel like specifically in the era of AI, in the era of not real creativity, can we just be honest with ourselves? You're looking at me because I know I can't post this, but
I know you
genuinely, God, it makes me so upset. No, I'm just gonna go unleashed. I don't care anymore.
Go for it.
Literally,
I get what you're saying. It's hard to it comes with the age of media we're in, that anyone can be a star. Or like that's what we're told.
Okay, I'm gonna have to cut half of this, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it so real.
Okay.
Period. And especially if you're using models and AI to be like, this is this character.
AI
absolutely
art.
Not. No, absolutely not. You are not using AI art to make yourself one, because fucking stupid. 2, you are not using AA art to make fictional characters because no one does it the way I think about in my brain. So you're going to use some model name and be like, hey, use this model and make them have wings. Absolutely not.
AI
Either use your imagination or you don't need to visualize it.
or put your effort in. AI will be the downfall of our
It will
generation.
be. There are so many amazing artists out there that like can get you to the point where like, oh, here are the things that I think are correct about this character that they did, and here are the things that I don't agree with. If you don't think it's absolutely perfect the way you imagine them in your head.
Some people,
You
put
know
their
why we read
whole
books?
heart and soul.
We read books so we can imagine what people look like. If you want exactly what someone's supposed to look like, you can go turn on your TV and go get to whatever streaming service that you buy, and you can go on there.
This is why I'm against the Akatar TV series.
Real.
They can't do it justice.
No.
It will turn out to be just, there's no shot they could ever meet our expectations because the series is so built on a foundation of love and like it's put on a pedestal 100%.
It needs to be animated.
It needs to be animated because I don't see them being able to do the magic in a not cringy way. I could never have a real person, real man in my real life say anything any of these bookmen say because the second they do, I'll immediately go, who the fuck do you think you're talking to right now? Absolutely not. That is, get out. You're telling me anything that I read that I'm like eating up that someone says it to me, I'm gonna want? Absolutely not. That is for Fantasyland. I love it. But and if a man is like, unless they do like a who did this to you, that's
a growl.
Fine. Well, Henry Cavill, he can do it right. So if it's Henry Cavill,
So if Henry Cavill comes to Teresa's door and knock, knock, knock.
Henry Cavill as the Witcher, absolutely.
Him in 6 hours of makeup.
He can have anything he wants from me.
Oh, okay.
I mean that.
Valid.
But that's the thing. They work because they're books.
Yeah.
And once that's put to screen, it's like on TikTok or Instagram, those apps that like try to have their own little shows. And it's like,
are you talking about episode?
Something like episode.
I loved episode.
Or like Alpha Alexander, blah, blah, blah. And it's like these really poorly paid actors. And it hurts. But I'm like, in a book, I would probably eat this up. I've never read a wolf.
Make the books you read sound so cringy. And they're not that cringy.
They're not. But I feel like if they were ever put to show, they would be. Because I feel like they wouldn't be able to do it justice.
They just need to not have them be real people.
Yeah.
Another thing with Bookstagram that I have noticed, and it's not really a Bookstagram problem, but it is an Instagram problem, is engagement is so out of whack.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm not posting on the dot regularly, but like even what shows up in my feed doesn't make sense.
No, everyone who used to get a lot of engagement, if they ever took a break, they came back, their engagement was shot.
Yep. Yeah. I feel frustrated with that personally. Because I'm not.
And that's just like the issue of
Hair in my mouth.
Seeing your value equated to engagement, or not value, but it does take a tick to your pride when you're like, oh, it's not being seen, or like it's not worthy of being seen when it's something you care about.
Yeah.
Which now that I'm saying it feels whiny. But like that's
no, we're here to yap and we're here to whine. If nothing else,
I am a yapper. That is something I have fully come to accept about myself. I love to yap. My job basically is just me yapping with people on hikes. I love it. I learned so much about a man's gallbladder today. Did you know they could explode?
Yeah.
He had chunks on his liver of his gallbladder.
Oh, you did not have to share that. Thank you. No, thank you.
He could have died. But he stood tall next to me. He was alive. Shout out.
Anyway,
I love to yap. This
Yapper
this
gals.
whole series of Dogeared is so we can just yap.
Yeah. No,
That's
we
us making a
just-
podcast because we always yap anyways.
I will tell you, the moment Teresa walked in this door, we started yapping. And then we yapped for another 2 hours before we started filming this. As
We've
we
been
were getting a
yapping.
little not sober. And then continue. God, it looks like you're drinking poison. Like, that looks poisonous.
I am.
Okay.
It's genuine. It's poison to our bodies. We
Interesting.
weren't made to consume this as much as we do.
It's very fun. Anyway,
Doesn't
yeah,
happen
Dogeared is just for us to yap. So we hope you're enjoying the yap fest to the girlies out there. If not, I'm super sorry.
If you disagree, honestly, come for us because we probably deserve it.
Don't put that in the universe.
If you agree, let us know. It's the thing is,
Other thing about Bookstagram. God, I love getting tagged, but those notifications that Instagram has are not okay. Why am I getting tagged every time someone comments on someone else's comment?
okay, actually, or like if you're tagging a post, why do you get all of the notifications?
Ridiculous. I don't want to know.
No.
I want to be tagged because, like, I want to see you do well. Yes, ma'am. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I want to be tagged in this meet me in memes
But like,
tag, but like,
selfishly, I only want to see my notifications, and so when I get all these notifications from someone else, I'm like,
I will have like 60
in my own
notifications,
pity
and I'm like,
party.
why? I haven't posted anything, and then it's like, girly pops, we're loving other people's posts, and I'm
So,
like, I'm so happy
basically-
for you. I'm so proud, but like,
We're realizing we're mad when things don't revolve around us.
I am allowed to be mad about things that don't revolve around me. No, I don't have to just be a symptom of the universe. That doesn't make sense. I'm allowed to I am allowed to not accept what the universe has dished out for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm allowed to want something greater for myself.
real. Absolutely. I just, the tides have turned. I've seen a lot of people post about how even on Booktok, I haven't gotten into Booktok until I started posting for this podcast on Booktok, and it's a weird place. I could never have been a Booktalker because Bookstagram is where my soul lies.
I think there was a lot of spoilers that happened on Booktok.
Oh,
allegedly.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's just it's people talking, which is fun, but there's an art to Bookstagram.
That we don't have.
I absolutely do.
Oh.
My posts, my whole
Curated.
I love curating my posts. That's the fun I have with Bookstagram. And it does suck that I require like a certain amount of lighting. And it's like sometimes you put that pressure on yourself, which is like, why is that there? Take it away. It doesn't need to be there. And I've worked through that.
I don't think there's a single post that I've posted without your consent. Not consent in like a,
That's not fully
yes,
true.
you're allowed to, but more like a, yeah, this looks good. Post it.
This is something me and Megan did even before we had Bookstagram, and Bookstagram really just became finally an outlet where we were like, this is something we love to do, like make a whole thing seem connected and beautiful.
If you look on our personal Instagrams, which you certainly don't have to, but they are definitely curated, or you can tell the lines where they were curated. I think mine goes all the way up, but yours has like
I've
breaks.
shifted a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, like our Instagram or our Bookstagrams are now where we
Well, they're definitely
invest that time.
art outlets.
Yeah.
And some people, they don't have that. They use them more as like a documentation of the reading, and I love that. And then some people use it as a way to get deals. I don't know. No. I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, just be fucking for real.
Be fucking for real.
That's, I think, where I come from.
I say as we put filters on our posts and whatnot. But you know what?
Well,
How real are we talking?
No, that's different. Because a lot of people on Booktok or on TikTok use so many filters. Like, just when they're talking, it's like, add eyelashes or, like, glam bot. And I'm like, why is this normal for us? I get if you're not feeling great about yourself in that moment. But it's also, this only feels like a detriment to us.
I also feel a little weird about people putting book covers on other books on Bookstagram. Have you...
Oh, like editing
edit a cover of a book on another book? That also kind of just feels weird to me.
Oh, I get, like, editing onto a Kindle.
No, this is like editing a Kindle book onto a physical book.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I don't
think I've ever recognized that happening.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I guess I just haven't... I have an editor's mind. But I've noticed that some people do that, and it always kind of irks me in a way that's like when this isn't real.
People post books they don't have, but the title has been revealed. Is that what you're talking about? That's what I'm like.
It bothers me.
This is kind of weird. Because it's not... I get we edit our photos and that's arguably not real, but I'm like, it's real because it's the expression of how I want this image to look. But, like, you're taking something from something else that you don't have.
Doesn't exist.
And that's a little weird.
I got up at 6 a.m. so I could get that picture, that outfit picture I got with House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. You bet your biscuits I got up at 6 a.m. I went to 3 different stores so I could get that physical book just so I could take that picture. That cover is real. Maybe it's 8-bit because my phone is horrible, but, like, I took that picture for real. And it sucks that sometimes, most of the time, that, like, people just edit that picture on. And maybe this is why I also have problems with people editing pictures, because I'm a hater at my core.
At the end of the day, I'm just worried about this devolution of us being real about the books we're reading and how we feel, because that's where it started. And it started from a shared love of many books, Sarah J. Maas books being a lot of the first books people recognize, but now that's fourth wing for people that's getting them back into the books. And I love that. I'm genuinely so excited for people that are getting into reading. And it feels so whiny to be saying some of this, but I want authors to feel like they have the space to produce the best thing that they can, but I see that they could now feel the pressure of everything that's coming with it being so sensationalized on social media.
I just want good content to read.
I want great books, and there are so many, and there's still so many being made. And even honestly, I love a book that's not even that great.
I love Bookstagram. At the end of the day, I think I just hate social media, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I saw a post recently about someone saying that we just need our own app, and then I was like, you mean like Goodreads or Storygraph? But like our own app to post pictures of books with reviews, which I feel like is basically the apps that exist, but I get what they were saying. I've seen a lot of posts recently about like people missing the good old days, and that feels so old of us to say.
Wow, that's cringe.
I know, but I get where they're coming from, where there's just so many people, and which is a beautiful thing, but it can be really, you can feel really lost. And
I never feel lost when I'm with you, baby. Baby girl.
Mommy. Mama.
I'm really thankful for Bookstagram for
Me
like
too.
bringing this whole podcast together in general, but also just like I feel like we became closer as friends with reading books, even though we were friends for a long time before that. I feel like we were able to connect with each other.
It's the thing about people that read books is that they're hot and sexy. But it's also the thing that it's a different level of connection because the way people interpret books is in a whole new way and creates a more empathetic mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the connections made over that are so deep because when you read books, the way that your brain chemistry works with that, and when you relate to people over that, it's so special.
Okay.
And if you are on the outside, it seems silly. It seems that people are just like reading about these
fairy smut.
Yeah, these characters with wings, but it's like the amount of times you can relate to the hardships of those characters and the way so many of those characters can help people through what they're going through. You can't understand unless you read it, and that's why so many readers get connected and why we have grown closer because of that, and how even through Bookstagram, like, it feels cliche to say, but the growth I've had in myself from finding, like, starting to read and, like, producing this content and, like, connecting with these people in the past year, like, who I am a year ago to now. Like, I talked about it in the previous episode, how I was able to connect so much more to my femininity and express that through Bookstagram. That was the first outlet I had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just always felt out of place when I tried to, even though I knew it was there and I wanted to, but I had cultivated this persona for so long that I was like this tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I shaved off all my hair, not to keep talking about my shaved head.
I'm obsessed with your shaved
head.
But
it was a catalyst for just so much. And I felt so lost with who I was. And so Bookstagram was the first script back to reality, and for me to be connected to, like, who I am and who I am with my own femininity, and then the growth from there. Here we are.
Proud of your journey. I love it for you. I feel honored to be a part of the journey in such an intimate way, considering that I was there. You know what I mean?
You
like,
pushed me to do it.
I did. Yeah. Like, I forced ACOTAR into your hands and drove to the school when you were like, I finished the third book, I need the next two, and I brought them to you. Like, I was there through all that, and like told you to get your Bookstagram, and my boyfriend helped you choose what your Bookstagram would be called.
Shout
and
out,
like
Parker, honestly,
the whole
it's
thing.
Perfect.
And it's been a fantastic like journey through all of that. And
I found a picture of me reading Silver Flames on
Are
the
you
beach
serious?
in Hawaii while my family was like playing around me in the sand, and my brother just learned what like ACOTAR was from his girlfriend, and
I can't imagine reading.
I
Silver
showed
Flames
him
in
this
front of my
picture where
family.
he was standing or laying right next to me in the sand. I was like, I was reading that book, and he went. It's so funny.
Positive.
And I know the benefits that can come from Bookstagram, and I want other people to experience that, but I feel like in the direction we're going, I don't know if they can. But I wish that for them.
More to come. More to come for sure. And honestly, we'll keep giving you our reviews or our unbridled opinions because you know we can't shut the f up. So there's that.
I honestly can't. That's why
Yap Central.
I've stopped. I haven't posted as frequently on my Bookstagram because I feel like I'm getting so much out on this. And even if people don't really listen to this, it's nice to get it out. Mm-hmm. It's an outlet.
What do you not like about Bookstagram? You can let us know or not let us know. You can actually spam my account with hate comments. I honestly might find that entertaining. But
tell me what you think about frogs.
For what reason?
I don't know. Would you kiss one? And what species would you kiss?
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Dogeared from Last 2 Pages.
I hope you agreed or felt seen somehow, way, shape, or form through this episode. And thank you for listening. I know we just talked a lot. We want to bring you into our little twosome for a threesome.
And we'll see you on the next page.
We'll see you on the next page.